Yo, 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 what up, guys? It's your boy T Dub was blazing the sports. Yes, of course, I'm back at it, giving you boxing geekers this work. What up with it, D Ray? What's up with you, champ? D Ray Promotions in the building. Guys, I'm not gonna be here long. Feels like I'm coming down with a cold. I think my kid got me. He got me sneezing and coughing in my face. But let's get it, man. Guys, I did a video last night, right? Where I pulled up an article. And at first, I read about David Benavidez. David Benavidez wanted to fight Demetrius Andrade. And then I got to a point to where they said his promotional team, Benavidez, they want more money to fight Demetrius Andrade than what they were asked for Canelo. Guys, listen, wow, caught the actual video, listened to a lot of it, and I gotta say this, it is mind blowing. And I personally think that this should boost Demetrius Andrade boogeyman type of persona if you give it to him. My boy, American Panther traveling a bit on water with a champ. I'm at work, man. Fighting looked like the beginning of a cold coming. My kid been sick for about 3 or 4 days. I tried to duck and dodge it like the plague, but I think he got me anyway because I'm getting a little scuffy throat. So I'm getting the scuffy throat, voice altering. Hopefully I'll be good because I want to call that Kell Brook fight this weekend. But, guys, listen, let's talk about it. So I was listening to the Boxing Boys, and they was interviewing Simpson, I believe is the promoter of David Benavidez, right? So David Benavidez came out and was looking like he was challenging Demetrius Andrade, right? He wanted to fight. I would say he responded to Jamal Charlo because I think Jamal said something first. So I can't really knock Benavidez wanting to fight Jamal Charlo, even though he was kind of like just basically driving it in, a lot that he wanted to fight Jamal. Now all of a sudden he said, "Hey, since Demetrius is moving up to 168, I want to fight him." So for a lot of people, it's like, oh man, right? I'm getting to analyzing the fight. I'm thinking like, okay, is he wanting to fight Demetrius Andrade because they think he's smaller, moving up? What? And then I'm like, what? It is actually a really good fight once I pull both guys up. But then, guys, I listened to the interview, man. I just listened to it, and to me, it's mind blowing, right? It's going to make people think that the people that handle Demetrius and handle Dave Benavidez, they have truly been cherry picking fights that they knew he can win. Check this out, right? So they said in order to fight Canelo, they said, listen, we would take less than 10 million. We'll take, probably 7 million or less to fight Canelo. And then Ness brought up, hey, since your guy, Benavidez, called out Demetrius Andrade, what about that guy? And to me, you can tell that this guy, Simpson, he knows what Demetrius Andrade is bringing to the table. He knows. He knows that this guy can fight. He said, to fight Demetrius Andrade, we would need more, much more than what we would require to fight Canelo Alvarez. Like, how does that work? How does it work that you need much more to fight Demetrius Andrade than you would need to fight Canelo? In what world, right? And then when the promoter started breaking it down, he was like, Style, he said, listen, Benavidez win, but, he won't look good, right? Right? That's letting you know that he sees Andrade as a threat. He sees his style and what he brings to the table as a threat. And they saying that, Ness says, so you saying you'll need what at least 7 million to fight Andrade? They said much. He said much more. See, even though they're saying 7 or more, he really said much more, right? Even when they got to the point of interview where Ness said, so 7 million just to even start the conversation. He said 7 or more to start the conversation. And the guy Simpson was like, yes. To me, I'm like, wow. So you saying you need 7 to 10 million just to even pick up the phone about a fight with Demetrius Andrade. Guys, that I was like, listen, he did not do Benavidez any favors. It made him seem like a duck. It made him seem like, yes, he's a good fighter, but they making sure to keep him clear of people that can possibly beat him. Because they said another reason why they didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade, they said, listen, he brings nothing to the table outside of being a two-division champion in both divisions. He brings nothing to the table. Nobody pays to see him. So we need basically more than $10 million to even consider talking. Listen, that's a duck. That is a duck. I don't want to hear Benavidez go live and never say he want to fight Demetrius Andrade, because your team, the people that promote you, are saying that it is not going to happen. They're going to require so much money that it's just not going to happen. They already priced themselves out. So if Demetrius Andrade don't bring anything to the table and his fights doesn't sell, then how are they going to get you 10, $15 million that you require? If he doesn't sell, then how do you get it? And I got to ask you a question. Then what is David Lemieux getting for fighting you? Right? Remember, you said that not you, I'm talking about your promoter, said that they don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade because he brings nothing to the table and it could be a tough fight for them. Is Benavidez not a tough fight for Lemieux? Is Lemieux getting 7 plus 10 million just to even start, settle somewhere around 20 million to fight Benavidez? Has Benavidez made this kind of money before fighting anyone? Guys, like I said, man, this right here, what we hear, in all honesty, this should boost up Demetrius Andrade. Because you got somebody who people are saying Canelo is stucking. They are saying Canelo is stucking David Benavidez. Oh, and something else that they brought up, right? They kind of shocked me. You know how DAZN is offering a 2-fight deal to Canelo, right? Like what was like 85 million to fight is it Bevo and then Triple G? He revealed that yes, we know in the public that they offered Canelo 45 million to fight Charlo. But he said they offer David to fight David Benavidez, they offer Canelo more, much more than $50 million. Wow. Listen, man. He said it seems like none of these guys really want to fight. They are looking for just one big payday like Canelo or Kovalev. You know what, man? That's my boy American Past Travel saying that. You know, like this day and age of boxing is different, because the moment you start getting a name, it's like the more you start getting a name, the more your company put a protective shield around you, and they protect you from other threats that people might can beat you, right? So Ryan Garcia started to get a name. They protecting him from Devin. Like Cambosa is probably being protected from Devin. The moment you get a name, right, popularity is like, okay, we got to keep the popularity. How do we keep the popularity? By making the people think we want to fight the big fight, and that somebody always messed up the big fight. But yet, since we always keeping our name in boxing talk, that way, even when we fight the David Lemieux or Rocky Fieldings or whoever you're fighting, your name is still popular. You know what? You really gotta fault the fans, because the fans are the one that defend it. The fans are the one that say, well, who is Wilder beat to fight Joshua? Who is Haney beat to fight anybody? Right? Who? I mean, think about it. This is crazy. This is crazy. And his promoter, David Benavidez promoter, just came out and said that even though Benavidez said he wants to fight Andrade after fighting David Lemieux, they would need more money than what they will require for Canelo. Much more money. Now, see, for Canelo, you get your biggest payday because you know the fight is going to generate a lot of views. They can afford to pay you a bigger payday because they assume because it's Canelo, it's going to sell a lot and he's going to have to get a lot, and we should have enough to get you. You're part of the portion, you're part of the pot. But how can you say that Demetrius Andrade don't sell, brings nothing to the table, which means you're already saying that how you going to pay you the millions you want? That's duck goosing at its finest. Man, guys, you gotta check out that interview, man. I wish I was home to really break it down, but I just walked out to my car. I gotta do a yearly review in like 15 minutes, something like that. Go through, do the ropes. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, all right, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. See you next year. But man, when I heard this, I swear, because I was you know, walking and I was getting ready to do this video, listen to the interview, and my mouth is just dropping like, wow, wow, right? I'm just like, I just can't believe that his promotional team is really laying it out there like that. I mean, just laying it out there that and they said, hold on, wait a minute. When Caleb Plant, right? They even brought up a Caleb Plant. When Caleb Plant was undefeated and he had a belt, why didn't you want to fight him then? But yet you say that you want to fight him. I'm talking about Benavidez wants to fight Caleb Plant now that he lost. Why? And you're like, well, it's not for the money. He'll fight him for free. It's just something he just really wants to hurt Caleb Plant. Listen, if he really wanted to hurt Caleb Plant, he would have wanted to fight Caleb Plant when he was undefeated and he had a belt. He'd have unified. See, these guys don't unify no more because they don't want to lose their belt. They want to keep fighting these has-been champions that still have somewhat name recognition, and they want to fight people that they shouldn't be fighting. He said, I'm going to find an interview and watch it. Man, I wish I could post it. Like I said, man, let me step out for a second, give me a little walk in before I walk out. Man, like I said, man, it is just mind blowing. And like when you do get the interview, it just lets you know, man, that this boxing, today's boxing, is not what it used to be. Now, back in the day, boxing was really for the fans. Now, I'm gonna say the fighters, I don't know if they got paid like they should have or not, I don't know, but it really was more so for the fans. You got to see your matchups and you got to see it more than once. It's like, let me compare it to basketball, right? So right now, let's say if you want to see me versus, let's say, American Pass to Travel in a basketball, game, right? So you know how you playing basketball, and if somebody wins, right? Well, you know what? Normally in basketball, if you playing 1-on-1, you do 2 or 3 times, right? You don't just say, "Man, I want to play Pastor. I want to play him so bad." But every time you're talking about playing him, you end up playing somebody else, and then years go by. Something happens where you either don't play him, or when you do play him, it's only one time. Whenever I play, backyard basketball, anything like that, you play more than one time. You did at least best 2 out of 3. I'm talking like, I'm just using like a one-on-one type of thing. But nowadays, it's like all we getting is possible. It ain't even guaranteed. A possible one big fight out of these guys. And when you're talking about one big fight, that's not good. When you have multiple fighters and there can be multiple big fights out of one fighter. It doesn't matter if you lose. You just lost to that guy. Losing to one guy don't make you trash. Don't make you garbage. It just means you lost to that guy. There's 3 or 4 more good guys out there. Try your luck with them. Man, but nowadays, boxing is not for the fans. All right, damn, there it is. Back in the day, boxing was more so for the fans. Nowadays, boxing is more so for the boxers. That's what it is. It's more so for the individual boxer. It's not about the fans. It's not about putting the best fights forward. It's about giving you mediocre fights and acting like you're starving for it. It's about hinting towards big fights, but never giving you the big fight. It's about, if there is a fighter out there that is a really good fighter and could be a hell of a war, but because you said that his commercial value isn't that big, that's the reason why you would never fight him. Hence, talking about Devin Haney. Because he's a great fighter, that's the reason, and he's not, I guess, selling like they want to sell. It's the reason why they would never fight him. Can you believe that? Can you really believe boxers doing it? Can you believe that? The boxers now, and that could be a thing. The boxers all are, I don't know, man. They're their own promoter. I mean, they have a promoter mindset. Most of the boxers have a promoter mindset now. When back in the day, a boxer, just had that mentality. Listen, I'm about to destroy. I don't care who it is. I'm about to destroy him. And the promoters used to play the politics, but the fighters used to be like, I'm gonna destroy him. I don't care. Put him in the ring. Not no more. Not no more. You hear more nowadays from the actual boxers talking about, oh, I'm not going to fight him. He ain't fought nobody. He got to go fight somebody else. And this can be a mandatory telling the actual champion that. Somebody who never fought for an actual belt is telling the actual champion that you ain't done enough in the boxing world for me to fight you. Like I said, man, this is simply mind blowing. It really makes me look at, the man, just boxing. Even though this video is about Dave Benavidez, which like I said, I think it's bad. I think it's bad that his promotion team came out there and just, you know what? Matter of fact, I think it's good. I'm wrong. It's a bad thing that is happening in the way it's happening, in the way they're ducking. But it's a good thing because at least us as fans know. We know now. David Benavidez says he needs more than $7-10 million, much more than $7 to $10 million to fight Demetrius Andrade, who would be the smaller man moving up to 168. But then I got to ask you a question, champ. How much you getting paid for David Lemieux? How much you getting paid for David Lemieux? Are you getting that much more than $7 to $10 million? Oh, I get it. You can beat David Lemieux. So you would take the 400, 500K, whatever. You can beat him. So you don't require much. But since your own people said that Demetrius Andrade would be a very tough and difficult fight, you're trying to cash out. You're saying the only way that you would fight Demetrius Andrade is if you cash out. That's man. Listen, I don't know, man. I'm telling you right now that this one took a hit for me for boxing. This one took a little hit for me. This one took a hit because I do look at David Benavidez as one of those guys that like got that rough and rugged style, and I want to see him up against the best. But we just heard that that's not the case. If you want to see him against somebody that they can actually give him a problem, he's gonna want so much money that the fight can't happen. And I kind of find it kind of crazy that PBC, from what Simpson said, PBC offered Canelo Alvarez much more to fight David Benavidez than to fight Jamal Charlo. That was mind-blowing. They offered Charlo 45. Simpson said that when it came to when they offered Canelo about Benavidez, they said they offered Canelo much, much more than $50 million. Somebody threw a word around like 65 million, but I don't know if I heard the actual 65, but I did hear him say much more than $50 million to fight Benavidez. The only thing I am thinking is that they feel that the Mexicans will show up and buy this event by droves. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Maybe they think that the black and brown mix is a good fight, but the Mexican versus Mexican mix might be better because I don't believe David Benavidez ever held his own pay-per-view. I think the only one that Charlo been on is when he did a double hitter with his brother, right? Yeah, I don't know if it's called a double hitter, but they both fought on the same court. But man, like I said, guys, very wild. To me, I wish this video can get out to every boxing fan that ever talks about Demetrius Andrade, and you can see that the fear that's in a promoter's heart when they come into fighting Demetrius Andrade. Even when his fighter mentioned Andrade's name, Andrade will be the smaller man moving up, but the promoter says he's a dangerous fighter. He said, "Listen," he said, "Benavidez will win, but he won't look good." He said he won't look good. And no matter how many times they phrased that question, that promoter kept coming back to saying he just won't look good fighting Demetrius Andrade. He'll look bad. He said Demetrius Andrade will make him basically look bad. And in order to fight Demetrius Andrade, they're going to need much more than $7 or $10 million just to even start the conversation, just to even respond back to an email. It needs to be a bare bottom minimum of 7 to 10 and say, okay, now let's really start talking about what we really want. Guys, I'm gonna get in here and get this yearly review out the way. But I had to share it with you guys. Man, oh man, oh man! Listen. If you ain't found it, I'm pretty sure if you type in you can go to Google and you type in Benavidez wants more than $7 million to fight Jamal Charlo, you'll get it. Your boy T-Dub. I'm out.